39% since last year. As a result, this weekend, Mayor de Blasio beefing up police patrols in the parts of the city hit the hardest by the rise in violence. The question is, will it work? Eyewitnesses report, so you'll recall the latest.
So there's been a lot of gun shootings, y'all, in Brooklyn, New York, and throughout the boroughs. Part of it is because, you know, they want to enforce certain laws to come out. It almost sounds like they want to bring back stop and frisk. And, you know, New York is about to get a new mayor. And it's supposed to be our second black mayor. And Eric Adams. Eric Adams is a brother that used to be a cop, and he was part of a group that was in New York City Police Department that was called, I think it's called 1,000 Black Men in the Police Department, something like that. But they were against racism inside the NYPD and outside the NYPD. But also, it's to really focus back policing back into the neighborhoods, because as time went on with all this stuff with the COVID, a lot of people
made an emergency landing on a bridge at Ocean City, New Jersey. The pilot, just 18 years old. Reporter Trish Hartman from our sister.
A lot of people, they basically they started to not feel the police presence in New York City in the neighborhoods, because you had stuff going on with the police union. You had the Black Lives Matter asking to defund the police, and it was having an effect because the police kept on attacking a lot of people. Like at J Street Borough Hall here in New York, you had an incident with cops with a young teen. And even though a lot of these young teens is wild and crazy, which is not a lie, you know, sometimes when cops lay hands on people, they be too rough with the people. And in the past, like me and House, and there was another group of brothers called the Lions of Freedom that came out of One West. They were brothers that taught penal and statutory law, and they also taught constitutional law, and they wanted brothers and sisters to know their rights, and how to deal with police and know the law itself. Because, like, for example, like if a cop stops you, you supposed to ask them, what is the probable cause of you detaining me? But you don't have to go right into that right away. You just be patient first. But some people go into it right away, and then the cop feels like they being a smart aleck. And it's good that if you being stopped by a cop, that there's people around to witness it. You know, even if it comes to the point where you think you're gonna be attacked, you could call people from their windows and ask them to bear witness of what's happening to you. So brothers used to teach this stuff. And I known over the years a lot of brothers that got shot and killed. I had some friends, people I knew from my block in Bed-Stuy. I don't really talk about my personal, but I knew dudes that were street dudes, and I remember a guy named Davon and Supreme, and yo, another guy named Country shot them, and like he shot him, and it was over because his son disrespected him, and he rolled up to them after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he killed both of the guys. And one of the guys had a gun, and he passed it to his brother, and he shot the brother that had the gun first, and shot him in the neck, shot him in the body, and he died. And then he chased, I think his name is Drayvon. He chased Drayvon across the street and shot him, emptied a whole clip in him, and then he ran to the train station, jumped on the train, went to 42nd Street, took a bus out to North Carolina. And Country, this dude was a smart guy, but he was stupid in his lifestyle. The way they was living was not correct. You know, they was dealing in a world they ain't supposed to be in. And with all that intelligence, instead of these guys, like, they had money, instead of them trying to take some of that money and open up a legitimate business and try to do something with their lives, they didn't do that. And me personally, I have had a young brother, one of my younger brothers died from gun violence. And my brother Elijah, he died. Why? Because he was following the wrong crowd. He was hanging with people that he wasn't supposed to be hanging with. He went out of state, and he went in the neighborhood, and a guy told him, yo, if I see you over here again, I'm gonna shoot you. And the guy didn't like my brother Elijah. He looked a lot more Spanish. He's a light-skinned kid, tannish brown, and almond complexion. And yo, it was a guy, he had already killed 2 Spanish-looking guys, and he rolled up on them, and he shot my brother in the back in the rain like a coward. He killed my brother, and I didn't know about it till maybe 2 years later, because my brother had went with another part of my family that was more thugged out. And they hid it from everybody because he was in a different state. And we had lost contact, and this was during my teens. It was really right during the time of the beginning when I entered into One West. So brothers, when I was warning brothers about gun violence, I'm warning you because it affects your family, because it brings depression to the family. People are always a little sadder than normal, especially when they have get-togethers. It actually ages your parents. My mom's ended up dying like after that because I think she was heartbroken over his death, you know, and then she had other ailments. But when I was telling y'all, they're using this scripture in Israel and saying that they're saying in this scripture that Christ told the disciples to take 2 swords. And then it tells you that he told them it is enough, and he was reckoned amongst the transgressors. Partially, it mean that he was right with the disciples, because the regular people that were transgressing, they were still a part of. They were still part of Israel. Even though the disciples were walking a different path, they still tied on to their people. And just because they were walking the path of a saint or disciple don't mean that they don't feel the plight of their people. You know, we feel the plight of our people. I don't hate my people, and I seen brother from GMS on I think out in California, and he was saying, yeah, F George Floyd, F him. And I was like, how would you say that? Like, that's evil. Like, you say that. And that's why it's like the hypocrisy to me in Israel, because you come off like a Black Panther, a person that's into black militancy, and then you make statements like that. And it's like they can't make a decision on what they want to be. Do you want to be a revolutionary fighter? If you want to be a revolutionary fighter, then you need to put the scriptures down. All right? You want to be a revolutionary fighter, you want to be a disciple of Christ, or you want to be a Pharisee priest. Which one is it? You know, they haven't made decisions in their lives, you know, what they want to be. We supposed to be disciples and saints. And, you know, like I said, the Lord said, he that taketh up the sword shall perish by the sword. You know, that's supposed to be your last alternative. You're not supposed to go and just take up weapons and go kill people, man. All right? Because you see what the result of that is. You becoming like a death angel. Because they have brothers that they want to, you have brothers back in One West, they want to be like death angels. They was telling brothers, yeah, go take out Esau, this, that, and that. You listen to what these brothers say, and a lot of brothers brought guns because of that attitude. You even have brothers in Israel commit suicide. Use guns on their self, where their family have a big question mark over their head. You know, they have a big question mark over their head. In this society, they want you to go that route so they could kill you. Like now, all of a sudden, there's been like a resurgence on the Eric Garner case where he got choked out by the cop. And all this stuff matters because you don't know all this thing going on with this plague. It's like, why are they revamping this stuff? And on the other side of it, you got the guardian angels here in New York, which is you got Curtis Sliwa, which is some guy that he actually fictionalized. He a white guy. I think he Italian or something. And he actually fictionalized people getting mugged on the train so they could film it and show the guardian angels doing martial arts on the people so that they could go around and say, see, we stopped violence. So now he's running against the new guy that is supposed to be the new black mayor of New York, Eric Adams. So I'm not fond of politicians so much, but because I had issues with politicians in Bed-Stuy over them doing tactics and being evil, like running off vendors and doing stuff. Mainly one lady named Annette Robinson, evil lady. All right, because you get black politicians that's evil too. But what I know of Eric Adams is that from the time I known him, he actually looks out for people. He looks out for the vendors, looks out for poor people. He steps up against cops when they abuse their authority and beat people. Because you know in the scriptures, Christ said, agree with thy adversary while he's in the way. And sometimes you need people like that to go in for you. So there's nothing wrong with the Israelite if he could help his people in his community by seeing what's going on politically in office, because sometimes people in social offices can help black, poor, and Latin people, you know? And I'm just talking from a man's perspective, because everything ain't doom and gloom. You know, just cause people say, oh, that's just how it is. I hate sometimes when people say that's just how it is, because it's like that don't mean it's supposed to be like that. Sometimes you gotta affect change. It's several times that me and brothers stepped up. House and me stepped up. Other brothers stepped up. And it made a change. It made a change. You know? And you have to make forward movement in the system while you're here. If you see an advantage you could take to benefit you, your family, and help other brothers and sisters, then do it. You know? That's part of the job of a disciple. You're supposed to spread love and do what you can to help one another. And in Israel, like, you have a lot of brothers that help each other in camps and amongst the brothers. They'll look out for one another, but like I said, you don't want to get led to a point where you committing violent crimes and using the Most High in Christ's name and saying, yeah, see that? Because I know a guy. I hope this story able to go through before the clock runs out. But I know a guy that he shot a man, killed a man, and he told me he was in jail for 25 years. He told me every night he tried to figure out what he could have had did to not kill that man. And the brother was for Bed-Stuy. He became a chef. He became a highly paid chef after that. But he said he tried to figure out what it was he could have had did to not kill that man. And he said every night he was in that jail cell, no, I believe he served 15 years. But he had got 25 to life. But because they seen he was like not totally a bad, wicked man, they let him go 15 years, and he came out and he changed his life. He got a nice wife. He ended up getting a house. He ended up becoming a chef. He ended up going on trips around the world. And, you know, I remember brothers like that. A brother I talked to, he lived in Bed-Stuy, Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bedford-Stuyvesant still got black people in it, y'all. I mean, even though it's gentrified, it's still black people over there that own a lot of houses. They didn't sell out their houses. Some sold out, but not everybody sold out. And I just want to pass that personal note to you. And the guy that killed my brother, yo, he ended up going back to prison to do life because he had already killed 2 other people. And like I said, I didn't find out about my brother's death for like maybe 2 years later, right after the fact. They removed the bullet and he bled to death and died. And that's the end of my brother Elijah. But it affected one of my other brothers real bad. It affected him because he never, in my opinion, really got over my brother's death. He was closer to my brother Elijah than I was. And you brothers that's in these camps, you can't forget who treated you like a brother and a sister outside of Israel. Like, don't turn your back on people because they don't agree with you. Because a lot of that goes on too. A lot of people, they get into the camps, and they get into the national knowledge of the Israelites, and they forget about their brothers and sisters and people that help them, friends, and they turn their back on them because they not a cult member of the camp. That's the wrong route to do too. And this your brother Adiala, original Sons of Thunder, Brooklyn, New York. God bless all the brothers and sisters out there. Like I said, weapons is that's supposed to be the last alternative. If you in the mindset of Christ, he ain't gonna let no harm come against you, man. All right? He ain't gonna let harm like that come against you. You gotta be in that mindset. All right? Yo, Christ is King. Grace and peace to all the saints.